All right. Hey, I had to bite on this TC59, or Telecaster by Artist Guitars. Shane from In the Blues has been talking about how good these are, as well as the Harley Bentons. But I'm not much of a single cut guy. I don't want another single cut. I don't want any single cuts. But this is a maple and Canadian maple and American ash Telecaster. Ought to be pretty good. It's got the ball bucker pickups that you can split, and according to Brett Allman, who has a really nice channel, when you split them they don't lose any volume, which is kind of unique. So I think, why not? This was 169 or 179, I don't know. Might have been 179. I was just lucky because I wanted to get these. And then I went and they were sold out. The pre-order wouldn't work on my iPad. I couldn't figure out how to pre-order anything. So I just kept striking out. And then one night in November, I was back on the site and I clicked and I was able to get on the order, which was just really amazing. And so I clicked it. And here it is. The reason I went with this, because you hear a lot about these. They come with locking tuners, which is just unheard of. 2 string trees, which is also a nice kind of deal. It's natural wood, and this is ash. Gosh. Flippin' beautiful. This looks weathered or stained, but I think that is a stain. It looks like it's been roasted or aged, but if you look down here, I think it's more of a Trump kind of orange tanning of sorts. And if you're a Trump fan, don't get your knickers in a wad. I love what he's done for the country, but gosh, I wish he would shut up a little bit. Wow. So, nicely packaged. A couple of dry things. Keep me dry. Little protection around the switch. That's nice. 3-way switch. And right there, splittable ball bucker pickups. Plastic on the pick guard. I haven't gone over it super fine yet, but I can tell you all the joint lines seem to be where they should be. The frets also are a medium jumbo, which I like. It's horribly out of tune, and that's okay. The nut is already very nice and low. I'll be able to take the higher strings down a bit, but the nut for the most part. They advertise a bone nut on the site. Locking tuners, geez, how cool is that? It ought to be very stable. These are upgraded locking tuners from the first run. And so the edges of the neck already have a rolled feel. Certainly much better than 7 out of the 8 Chapmans I've played, or is it up to 10 now? That I don't understand. But the neck has just a tad bit of relief already in it. Yeah, very nice. The action doesn't seem like it's going to need a lot of adjustment. I like that the bridge saddles are more of a modern type than bent metal. Those bent metal fiascos are just stupid. The line here between the bridge plate and the pick guard is parallel. That's very nice. The margin around here, the pick guard and the body, has a nice look to it. I mean, straight up, old style tele headstock, locking tuners. But it is orange. Which is weird because it's been stained. It looks like Donald Trump. But this is a satin finish, and you got the skunk stripe. All right. So already we're into upgrade territory. if you were to chase this down and want to get it in a Fender version. So I'll tune it up. We will see how it sounds. Boy, the knobs feel good. The tone is a little weak. I mean, you know, there's not a lot of resistance in the tone knob. That feels a little cheap. But I could get a CTS and replace that for very inexpensive, $8 or so. Gets me a nice CTS push-pull pot. And I'm not really impressed with the CTS pots anyway. I had one in my Wolfgang, a push-pull volume knob, and it's already, and it's only a year old, and it's already, you know, if I push on it, there's a drop in volume. So there's already some sort of short or something going on in that knob. So I was kind of disappointed in the CTS knob. They were supposed to be a real high-end deal, and it's got issues. I have knobs on my other guitars that are not CTS and haven't had any problems with those. But first impressions, gosh, just beautiful. Beautiful. Another nice thing is these screws on the plate. They use the right kind of equipment, so there's no sharp edges there. Sometimes if they use a screwdriver that's too small, you know, not the right tool, you end up with gnarled edges on some of the screw heads. String through body, which is super nice. The strings line up. There's the same amount of distance between the low E and the high E string and the edge of the neck, which was a part of the fiasco on my Telecaster. What was that? Modern Player? Telecaster Modern Player. The bridge hadn't even been put on straight, and the saddles were floating all over, if you remember that. Had to fix that. Jeesh, Fender. Never again. Anyway, cool. I'm going to tune it up, plug it in. We'll see what it sounds like. All right. Oh, you're way over there. Am I going to have to lean to the microphone? All right, well, let's get some tones running through the Ibanez. And maybe I can just do this. Turn this up real quick. See how it sounds through the Ibanez with some cleans, and then we're going to push it with an OCD. First we'll be in single coil mode. You just pull the tone knob out and you got single coils, and then you can punch that thing in and it sounds devastatingly good. So here we go. On the middle. That's not loud enough. Volume. Volume. OCD, full humbucker mode. But hey, let's put it in singles too. So we'll pop this back out. Now we'll put it back in. Alright, so I think this volume's pretty good, Let me turn that back up for vocals. There is a little bit of a volume drop. The King guy, is it Brad King? I think it's Brad King. Good guy on YouTube. He reviewed this as well and said there wasn't a volume drop when you switch from single coil to humbucking mode, but there is, but it's not that big. It's not like some I've played. Also, going between single to humbucker, little more noise, single coil, but the humbucker is noiseless and the single isn't that bad. The guitar is heavy, 9.6 pounds. It's really heavy if I keep it. And gosh darn it, it's so much fun to play that I want to keep it for $170. Gosh, you'd want to keep it. The locking tuners are great. The body is great. It's pretty. The bridge, the smooth saddles here are really great. The electronics, it has dime-sized pots in it instead of quarter-sized pots. So smaller pots, but they seem to be quiet, and I haven't had any problem. I'm already having a problem with a CTS pot in my Wolfgang. So, you know, are the high-dollar pots worth that much more? I'm not sure. The tuners were really tight. They are locking tuners, but they were really tight. So what I did was I had to just loosen those little Phillips screws on the end of the tuning key. That's why that's there. If you loosen those or tighten those, you can loosen or tighten the whole tuner, which is good to know. And I had to work the slots in the nut, and I asked the factory, and they got back to me actually in a really quick amount of time. The nut to me seemed soft when I was trying to recut the slots, but they assured me that it is bone. So that's pretty cool. And it is a flat-backed bone nut rather than a curved back if you want to replace that. But if it is bone, I'll keep it and just try those slots again because I was getting a bit of pinch on the strings. It's also running 10s. It came with 10s. If I were to keep it, I would probably run the 9.5s that I like to run on this style guitar, although the 10s are good. Jumbo frets instead of medium jumbos, so nice and tall. The radius is probably a 13, 12, something like that. It's just very nice, not too flat. I do not like 9 or 7s like on some Fenders, way too round for me. But once you get up into 16 down at the nut side, 16 down here is difficult. It's more like a classical style guitar, and I don't really care for that. But the thing stays in tune. I've been beating on it for a while. There's no country of origin on the back, which is interesting. It doesn't say where it's made, although I think I would wipe it down for, I'm not even going to say it, but I think I know it's from overseas. String through, the thing sustains like nobody's business. Check this out. Yeah, it's still going, and still going. I don't think you can hear it anymore, but it sustains great, unbelievably well. Great tones. Definitely has that Telecaster quack, which is nice. And then when you put it in humbucker mode, it barks really, really nicely. It's very mid-rangey guitar. When I was playing it through my Marshall, I had the mids. Actually, I was playing it through the EVH head. I've been playing that for a while. And I had my mids cranked all the way down because it's really a mid-rangey guitar. But it stays in tune great. I have no qualms other than it's heavy as heck. So if I keep it, and they sprayed, this is the other thing I don't like about it. They sprayed the maple neck so it looks like Donald Trump more than a roasted neck. I think they were trying to make it look like a roasted neck, but it's been sprayed, stained, and it's orange. And I don't like that. But if I keep this, since it's only $170, if I keep it, I'm going to do a route job on the back. And I think through routing all the areas that aren't important, I ought to be able to shave 1.5 pounds off this. So instead of 9.6, it'll be 8.2. 8.1. 8.1, which is good, better. I weighed all my guitars the other day, and they are all either 9.6 or 7.6, which is really interesting. Also, another interesting thing that has never happened is this. My C-sharp ESP is in perfect tune right now, and check out the tuning keys. They all line up. The G one is a little flatter than the others, but I don't think that's ever happened in my life, and that's really cool. And also made another cool little pedal board, but that's for another video. A awesome pedal board, again, from the thrift store, but that's coming up. Anyway, the Artist TE59, super cool guitar, $170. There's a waiting list, and they're often sold out. I got lucky, ordered mine in November. This is the 1st of March. I've had it for about a week, so I did have to wait for a while. But the craftsmanship is great. No issues with the guitar. It came set up really well. It's intonated perfectly. I don't have to screw with the intonation. I really like it. I liked it from the first time I played it, and I still like it. No tuning issues once I worked with the nut a little bit. I didn't have to really lower the slots. It was just pinching, and the action was set up nice. The relief on the neck was set up real nice, and really super nice option. It's just too dang heavy, so I got to do something about that if I keep it. But I ought to be able to sell it for $150 tomorrow if I decide to to get rid of it. The thing is, a friend of mine loaned me his Les Paul over the weekend, and so now I'm thinking it's an Epiphone Les Paul standard, and I didn't think I was a single cutaway kind of guy. I've played Les Pauls before. That always felt like a big block of wood, 2x4 on a rock, but this one felt really good, and it sounds really good. So I may have to get one, or put some PAF style humbuckers in my Wolfgang, because the Wolfgang pickups have always had something about them that I didn't really care for. So it would be a heck of a lot cheaper. I like the way that Gibson sounds. I like those PAF humbuckers. They are tight. And so that's another option. But I've talked long enough. Time to let you go. Catch you soon. Subscribe. See ya.